last night was an absolute disaster. So I just decided to take a nap. We are about an hour from drop right now. I want to check over the truck. I love doing this. I don't know why I do it, but I like doing it because I've had a motor blow up on me. But I like, oh yeah, it's also 25 degrees and windy. But I like checking blow by every now and again. Let's see how we're doing. Hell yeah. I spent the majority of the day yesterday at wide open throttle. This is what we're pulling. Make sure everything back here is still good. Tires are good. Definitely got, I don't think it's salt, but I forget what they use out here. It's like gravel or sand or some shit, and it doesn't work. This thing went sideways last night. Pulled the trailer brakes and she pulled me straight, so, and then I hit ice. I hit black ice last night twice. All right, so now miraculously it's 55 degrees out, but my guy said he'll be here in like 15 minutes, which is great. So you guys see this, right? I showed it in the first video. Basically what this does is you can pull that back and this will swivel. And I was like, oh yeah, it's a pretty cool design and shit. And then I thought about it more and more and I'm like, is it really a cool design? Because, so, if you're like articulating and shit, like there's no stopper on that. So what's stopping this thing from just going over in general? And I get you're not going to be like going over you know, some big fucking crazy shit with something this big, but still. And I had myself worried. I made sure that I got the right one. It says 0103 on it, and that's what it says on the paperwork. So hopefully we grab the right one. So I will say, I think Bertha has finally earned her keep. When I do get back, I eventually want to go get these fucking rockers sooner than later. I was like, I really want to do the mega cab thing, but I think it is going to be a minute before we start doing that shit. So I also feel like I kind of fucked up a little bit buying this truck. Not for, you know, it being fucked up and shit, but I feel like I'm really pushing my luck on these single wheels. And you guys asked me what size these were. So 33, 12, 5, 22s, and we got Nitto. Fuck, I can't even see the damn. What are these? Nitto something. I think Recon grapplers, ATs. And they're rated at like 2,600 pounds a piece, which puts me at like 10,400. So they're not hateful. They're pretty decent for what they are. It's slim pickings with 22s. But I think we're definitely pushing our limit. So if for some reason somebody has a dually axle and they want to swap me, let me know. Because, and that's just the axle. I'm not trading wheels and tires or beds and shit like that. If somebody wants to dually swap, let me know. Looks like we've got some scratches in her sidewall and shit, but these tires have been holding up well, so hopefully these things make me, I'd like to say at least 100 grand before they blow out, because at $2 a mile, if I can get 50,000 out of them, that'd be pretty nice. I also think this wheel's slightly, I don't know, they balanced out, but I think this wheel's slightly bent too. You can kind of see it on the picture, but I don't know, we'll see. And then this bed, as much as I thought about fixing that, I don't think we're gonna do that. You guys see up in there, she's pretty fucked right there. This whole bed just jiggles on this side, so we definitely need a new bed. There is no fixing this one. So, plans for the future. Probably just gonna end up dually swapping Bertha and then taking the parts over to the new truck when we do it. I know I didn't want to, but hopefully none of you guys want to do the swap, because I don't feel like doing it anytime soon. But if for some reason somebody does want to trade a dually axle for a single, and they want to go back and forth, I'm going to have to try to find a matching set of dually rears. Yes, I am going to run 22s. I am not putting factory dually wheels on this. And then I'm going to go ahead and just find the black bed, a black dually bed down the road. And before anyone says anything, the black dually bed that was in the shop was in very, very, very piss poor condition. Going to try from here on out to go with rust-free stuff. I tried a rusty truck. It's kind of biting me in the ass because the rockers cost like $450, and then the bed will ignore, but I also got to go get doors, and at some point we're literally just going to start swapping everything over to black. If I was going to go with the mega cab, I wasn't going to do the body work, but I do think I'm going to have this truck for at least 2 more years, so let's make it somewhat presentable. And white, I hate the white. Alright, we are dropping now. Check these fuckers out, these pauses. This one, I looked at the paperwork, said 91,000 on there. But this one, goodness gracious. That's neat. I feel like that's a much better design. Alright, it's Sunday now, and there are no gyms that are willing to, like, I'm just not willing to drive to some of these places. There's no Crunch around, and that's where I got my membership at. But I decided it's Sunday, and we're just going to do a bunch of, like, stuff that I've needed to do to the truck. And we have right back there, if you can see it right there, we have the cab lights. I need to just do them. I also spent the last hour remounting this because somebody decided to put it here and then it like flops side to side. And I didn't like that. So I went through, redid the wiring on it and put the proper butt connectors on it and pulled out my little storage area there. Probably gonna make a mount for the old hole puncher there. I used to have one in there, but this is such a nicer place. I can actually reach the piece here rather than it being here and hitting my leg all the time. And now I can put my leg up and shit. So truck is kind of torn apart right now, so I'm going to start putting everything back together. I forgot just how much ammunition I had sitting down in here, so I'm going to get a bag and put all that stuff in there. I think this was the self-defense stuff, and then this was the fuck around, just play around with stuff. So I think that's full. But yeah, I'm going to get that cleaned out, get all of this mess cleaned up, and then we're going to start tackling these cab lights. I actually got it wrong. This was all self-defense ammo. Had a little bit more than I thought I did. So I'm going to organize all this stuff, organize the ammunition, and then put those in here because I think I do only have 50 rounds left plus whatever's in the hole puncher. All right, so we're going to install these Boost Auto ones, and these are from Part Sam. You guys can see. Why do these fail every year? Explain that to me. Why every single year, 365 days, these things fail? Because I think I did these about a year ago. And 2 of them are out. Both the outers are out. We're gonna test out Boost, their cab lights. Yes, they did send these to me. Yes, no, I didn't get paid to install them, but they did send them to me to do a video on, and I'm gonna do a video on them, and they're very expensive. I need to go back and find the link so I can send these things to you guys. But basically, we have 2 things to install, so I'm gonna get the cab lights themselves installed first. I'm gonna show you guys. They come with new hardware, and they are labeled. So one being, I'm assuming this side, but I'm going to read the instructions first. I'm going to read the instructions first to make sure, because I'm assuming outer, outer, middle, middle, outer, middle, outer. But I could be wrong. It could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could be wrong. You got to install these correctly because they are synced, which means that when you use the switchback feature, these 3 are going to do a left, and then these 3 are going to do a right. The middle one doubles as both sides. And then it comes with this whole nice little packaging here. If I don't know, probably use that. This plugs into something. I'm not sure 100% what, but I'm going to go and figure out what I did with the instructions and get these things installed. I'm pretty sure, I think this goes to the passenger side. I remember LM Diesel doing a video on it. If you're watching this, little plug there for you, but he did a video on these as well. All right, so Boost Auto has a really nice detailed guide on how to install these things, and they make it so that there's no unnecessary wiring, no headliner to remove. You literally just install them. I'm not at the part where we install this yet. I will be watching that, but I was wrong. Number 5 is the closest to the driver's side, and number 1 is the closest to the passenger side. So I'm gonna go install these 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the nice thing is, even though they mark them, see how they have the marking there? I'm pretty sure, like right there, it says 5. So I don't even have to worry about how I take these out of the box because it's going to be common sense. I'm going to reuse their hardware. Looks like they give you a nice Phillips head. So all you need to install these things is literally this screwdriver right here. That's for the install function. Now keep in mind, you can get these without the switchback and you can get these without the turn signal. I opted to get these sequential switchback turn signals. So let me go install these things real quick and I'll show you what we're working with. Well, unfortunately, I got the cab lights installed, and the unfortunate part is it started raining. And it looks like it's going to be raining for quite a while. So I'm going to do what I can. I got to close the toolbox. I was looking at how this bad Larry works. Apparently, you're supposed to tape up the black wire, and the blue wire gets used. I got to pull the side panel off. This guy needs to get pulled off. and then we have to wire in for the turn signals. Now, the way they have you do it is they run it under the dash and then all the way up and then all the way to the other side. I'm not going to do that. I already have my wiring done, so I just have to tie it into the harness that I made on both the driver's and passenger side. So it makes it super easy with the mirrors. I just don't like a bunch of extra bullshit random wiring. Like, they give you all of this excess stuff, which you will use, but in my case, I don't have to do nearly the amount of wiring that they've already done. They had to do because I have the mirrors. So no headliner removal, just the side panel removal. They don't turn on right now. I plugged them all in both directions, and then I put them in the direction that they told me to put them in according to the instructions, and they're not turning on for some reason. So I don't know if that's because I need this to be installed for them to work. I'm not 100% sure. I don't know if that's just a switchback thing, or if it's like the regular thing, but for right now they just don't turn on. So I'm gonna install this, and then we'll see if they turn on after. All right, been watching their video for a little bit. So we have a wire here. This one is going to be the left turn signal, which is under the dash. This one will be the right turn signal, and then there's power and ground. So that explains why they don't turn on until this whole module's in. So we're gonna run these three together, obviously power and ground, so I'm not gonna mix it up with this. And there is a fuse box under on my driver's side battery, so it's supposed to be powered all the time. They give you this nice little fuse thing here. I'm just gonna end up throwing that away because I have a fuse box itself, so we're not gonna end up using that. And I'm just gonna wire into the stuff that I normally have, but it is raining now, so I'm gonna quickly make this harness going from the other side. Unfortunately, I don't have any loom on me with me, so I will re-loom it when I get back there. Might just throw some electrical tape around it just so I can keep it together for now. I want to keep it organized as much as I can. All right, so I got the cab lights installed, I got all the wiring and stuff done, and they didn't turn on from the get-go. A little worried about that. And then when I hooked up the whole thing, because they should at least turn on. So I hooked all of them in. I did some of them backwards wiring, some of them regular wiring. None of them turned on, so I put them all the correct way, just as like a diagnostic thing. And then I wired in the module, and when I hook the module to power, it's supposed to be constant power 100% of the time, and then it gets activated by the wire over in there, and then that turns the module on. But it's supposed to have power and ground positively, like all the time. And then I hooked it into my mirrors, the turn signal side, and for some reason it turns my running lights on constantly. It still does the switchback thing, but so I just pulled the fuse and I said, fuck it, I'm gonna send them a message and see what the deal is. Maybe I messed something up, but at the end of the day, the cab lights should at least turn on initially just from plugging them in. So I think there is a problem from the get-go. I don't know if they're like shorted or something, but they are returning power into my running lights constantly, even with the key off and with any of the lights off. So I'll figure that out and I'll get back to you guys. I don't want to abandon this project because Boost Auto makes some really good stuff, but I'm gonna go get an amplifier wiring kit, and I'd really like to wire in this inverter so I could use my laptop a little bit more, because my problem is once it dies, that's it. And then I gotta go into a truck stop, charge it, takes a couple hours. So I'm gonna go get some wiring. I know it'll be more expensive here at Walmart. I could just order it on Amazon, but I don't wanna wait 2 weeks. So we got this whole clusterfuck down here. I have my dirty clothes pile over there. That's the only thing I gotta figure out yet. Maybe we do get a hamper. But I really like how this turned out. Everything's organized. My GoPro stuff is down here. Just everything organized. I throw my wallet. Usually I put it like right in there because I have this one of those little metal wallets, but I definitely like this a lot more. Fucking Walmart coming in with the deals. Even got 6 gauge. I was looking at 8 gauge earlier. It was like 25 bucks, but your boy only paid 12 bucks for this. Whereas like, I don't think I could have got that deal on Walmart or on Amazon. So I'm gonna pull this apart and we're gonna start wiring in this guy down here. So we now have this guy mounted. I pulled this thing out. I'm just gonna throw that away. Well, you can see that's nice, and it also makes it easier on the floor. Did have to bust that piece to get that to come through rather than taking this whole bottom seat off. And then I also keep my registration and shit in here as well, but that should work out very nicely. Got this all back together, all 4 screws in. It's all nice. I have it taped around every like 3 or 4 inches to keep them together. I was initially just gonna ground it in here somewhere, but they sold me enough line. Literally the only thing in that package, that's why it was so cheap, was this 6-gauge wire. So what I did was I just took both ends and ran them up to the battery. I am going to have to get an inline fuse. I do know that. I am going to wire it as is right now without the inline fuse. And let's hope, you know, nothing catches on fire. But that's where we're at. So I'm going to go get that hooked up. All right, fellers. We now have an inverter. Obviously, I can only use this when it's open for my laptop, but I am not worried about that. Goal was just to be able to use it. So this will never close correctly again. That's fine. I might actually just cut this section out so that I at least have the latch. But see, I am going to keep that around because I think it was these 2 screws here. So I just need to redo the latch is all, which just cut that tray out. It would have fit in there just fine prior, but again, that wasn't the way that I wanted to do it. So probably when it's not raining, probably grab the angle grinder and just chop, and then chop through the center, bolt that back in, and then we... All right, I'm gonna have to show you these things at night because they're a little bit brighter at night, but we got them all working. Turns out that first sequence where you hit the 4-ways, that's what activated them. So I'm gonna turn my 4-ways on, and then there you go. They're not sequential, but they work out perfectly. The only downside is I have the left mirror wired to this cab light here, which is keeping them on constantly. So if I turn my lights off, these stay on all the time. So that's the only thing I got to do is take this wire that goes up to the cab light and move it over to the left cab light, because for some reason, I don't know what the deal is, but they're getting power constantly now, and this one's wired to this cab light and then that one's wired to that cab light. So don't know what the deal is there. Let's get these on. I'm gonna do a whole dedicated video, well, not maybe a dedicated video, but like I'm gonna do some more videos on these. But look at that. So they work now. We got the trailer brake fuse done. It got nice enough now that I can just start fixing shit. So I fixed that, put a new fuse in that. I threw all the excess wiring away. If I wouldn't have done that, I could probably do the wiring today, but probably not gonna mess with it, just leave them alone. Everything else is done. We're slowly starting to clean some stuff. All right, we're doing the last piece of maintenance that I need to do. I finally pounded this back in, and I replaced the relay because this one kind of looks like shit, but apparently that wasn't even the problem. I still have yet to figure out the problem. It's so weak. I pulled the hose off. I started screwing with that. There's stuff that came out of it, whatever. I'm about to pull this fitting off and see if there's anything hidden inside. But these horns sound like absolute shit. I think it's safe to say I found the problem. Down in there. I'm gonna take a pick in there and try to dig a lot of that out. I should have a straight pick. Yeah, there it is. See what all comes out of there, because I want these horns to work. Looks like the filter. There's a lot of shit in there. All right, put her all back together. Let's hook the positive and negative and see if she works. I'm gonna put money and say she doesn't, but we'll see. Nope, still doesn't work. Garbage. For those wondering, this is how I have it mounted. There's the pump way up high. Here's these, and then they're blocked with the shroud. So I don't know what the deal is. No idea. All right, check it out. That's the only thing I haven't figured out is those stay on until the truck physically falls asleep. But doesn't matter. If you guys have a Dodge, you'll know what I'm talking about the falling asleep thing. But check it out. Bink. Those are cool. I didn't think I'd like them at first. Boost did a really good job on. Look at all the fucking switchback shit, dude. I am going overkill on that switchback. It's fucking sweet. And then we lock it. Yeah, I like it. I think they did a good job on those. We'll see how long they physically last. And they have a cooler design than most of them, but you can see Boost Auto right on top of them. So I'm gonna leave a link somewhere for you guys to go purchase these if you want. Like I said, this is a trial run. We're gonna see how long they last. The Part Sam stuff, I order them. I've been ordering Part Sam for a long time, so when they were willing to sponsor me, that was kind of neat. But it really, at the end of the day, I mean, I think they provided some bulbs too. Their bulbs are pretty good. Unfortunately, I don't think anybody makes cab lights that last over a year. Maybe Boost does. We'll see in a year or so, but they're definitely going to get some real world testing. I really like their mirrors so far, and if a bulb goes out, they're replaceable. So that makes everything super helpful. So I'm gonna get out of here. By the way, I'm gonna give a shout out to these Trinity Iron Gym in Utah, $10 day pass. They're awesome. They got metal weights, the old school shit, cool deadlifting bar, anything you need for like powerlifting, strongman, arm wrestling, like they got everything you need. So check these guys out as well. I'm gonna give them a shout out.